The Owl House is a show with some very, very tight writing. Although having the third season scrapped before the second even began airing, we had plenty of reason for the show to be a plot hole ridden mess, but to surprise pretty much everyone. It is an incredibly airtight show. That being said, no show is perfectly written, and having no tiny inconsistency, Owl House is no different. This is a sequel to my previous plot hole video on the Outhouse, which I recommend you check out after watching the video. Also, hi, I'm Fictional Fanatics. I make plenty of other Owl House content and animation stuff, so you can find that here on this channel, and keep watching until the end of the video, because I think I found a plot hole which no one is talking about, and it has some pretty big implications. First of all, though, we know the Collector puppetized the Time Trappers during his rule in the Boiling Isles, as we see Bill and King's Nightmare featured in Watching and Dreaming, but that doesn't really make sense. If we remember, King and the Collector started their games as an excuse to save the people of the Boiling Isles from divinity, and also, King is against everyone being puppetized as he saves Hooty and is protecting Ida and Lilith from being puppetized. First of all, the Titan Trappers wouldn't be attending Day of Unity, as when Luz, King, and Hooty escaped, they blew up the portal between the Titan Trapper Island and the Boiling Isles, and not to mention, none of the Titan Trappers use magic, and they wouldn't have sigils anyway. And if King is trying to keep people safe, he's not going to tell the Collector about the Titan Trappers. He's not going to try to tell people as many people as possible so they're protected. And if the Trappers have a portal, they wouldn't need a boat. Nor do we see one stranding them on the island, meaning they couldn't escape. So how could the Collector try and find them? I mentioned the boat thing because I originally thought maybe the Titan Trappers were trying to come and kill King so they would make a journey to the Isles. But if they live on an island with nothing around and have a portal to land, what need would a boat fulfill up there besides maybe fishing? Now, as we know in Watching and Dreaming, Belos entered his Titan form and became super big and spread like a fungus across the Boiling Isles, vaporizing all magic in the process. It seemed impossible to defeat him, although of course we knew he would be defeated. There is another way, a much easier way, which wouldn't need Luz to die, and then getting the blessing of the Titan and become Titan Luz to defeat him. In the episode Really Small Problems, we find out there's a potion that can cause individuals to shrink just by spraying the potion on the person in question, which is a very handy piece of magic. So handy, in fact, you would think someone like Ida, who's constantly running into problems and has many adversaries, would have that potion on hand, especially because she has a shady potion business. Or, if not, that in the months she and Lilith spent in hiding and were brewing other potions, they might want to make this one just in case. Or what about the Emperor's Coven when they captured Albi's Ida? Wouldn't it be just a lot more convenient to keep her enclosed in a smaller form, small enough to even fit in a glass jar? I'm sure there are very many other ways where a potion like this would be useful, but it's never seen again. Personally, I just think this is another case of mid-season filler, where you have episodes which aren't that important but serve for character development and need to have artificially increased stakes, similar to episodes like the Galderstone ones. Now, we have a massive, just unbelievably important plot hole which went over most people's heads. It involves time paradoxes, other big word important stuffs. Yeah. In the Watching and Dreaming epilogue, we see that Lilith Clawthorne is building a museum, which she is interested in having a section filled with student exhibitions. But that isn't the problem. The real, massive, giant, large, big, enormous plot hole is that Lilith says she should talk to Bump. Just after this, though, we see Bump stepped down as principal and is now just a gardener at Hexside. So why would Lilith want to talk to a gardener when she could be talking to the principal? Now, I'm sure you might say, well, the brew plans might have been made in the past, and I say shut up. Now that that's dealt with, you don't need to know what's inside a room to build its walls. No architect is placing sofas and paintings on blueprints, because that doesn't make sense. No, I think we have a problem much more deeply rooted in the show, which is causing all these problems. One might also say, well, maybe Bump just recently retired, and I want to remind you, shut up. And also, why? Gus, Willow, and Luz were the best things in his life, as we see in Season 2, Episode 2. And Luz graduated from Gravesfield High, meaning she stopped attending Hexside. The band was broken up, and since Luz was the most chaotic it wouldn't be the same. So he would have retired just soon after watching and dreaming. So either Lilith is going to kill King to get Titan's blood and find a time pool, and go back in time to talk to Bob, why, or the show's most unbelievable plot hole happened. Crazy, 100% real, not clickbait. Finally, though, one last serious one, and I think it is pretty important. Again, both relates to the watching and dreaming epilogue, and yeah, that episode has a lot of problems, both unanswered questions and plot holes. We see in the epilogue that a technology has been invented to remove sigils, and that seems like a big, cool thing, very important, but it also has some massive problems, which aren't super clear, but they do have big effects. We know that Belos is the one who invented sigil magic, and all of Belos' magic comes from glyphs and glyph combos, assumingly even his artificial magic, like what is in his and Hunter's staffs. But glyphs come from the Titan, and after the Titan dies, glyphs stop working. That doesn't mean damage caused by a glyph won't disappear. A nice glyph or a plant glyph will keep working, like ice and plants, they're not going to disappear, but an active spell should stop working. For example, if someone could hold their breath forever, because that sounds, let me explain, and cast an invisibility spell using glyphs before the Titan dies, and once he's dead and they're still holding their breath, the spell should stop working, or at least that's what would make sense, even though he's still holding his breath, which is why he can hold his breath forever. And the same principle should apply to sigils. Since sigils block sources of magic, and it's not like a biosac is just separated into 8 different subsacks, the sigil would be something that can distinguish types of magic and allow certain ones, which would be a case-by-case basis. This would be an active type glyph, just like that invisibility one from earlier, so following that logic, sigils should stop working after the Titan dies, and then just be tattoos by the time we're in the epilogue. But it seems the show just forgot about that. There are so many more plot holes to cover. For example, this picture. Can you figure it out on your own, or you can also just have it explained in my previous unanswered question video, which you can click on screen right here. If you have any more Owl House plot holes, or even just rebuttals to mine, make sure to leave them in the comments. Until then, I have been Fictional Fanatics. I'll see you in the next one. But until then, bye!